into the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Little Michael to start off our show. Hey guys, we are here doing another after show of State of Affairs, episode 7. Oh, I'm lying. Episode 8. Ghost. We like it. We like it.
It was a good episode.
I know you guys are haters in the beginning of this show, but I feel like we're all watching it being like, wow, this is a good show.
Well,
Julian's, he's just going to dance the whole time.
Sorry, I love Michael.
Who doesn't? You got a problem if you don't.
I know.
Okay, well, let's get right into it. I mean, the show, again, I feel like they've definitely figured out some of their kinks or strategy or patterns, whatever you want to call it. Now that we have these, super exciting beginnings, but they're actually playing into the story more so than just these random things that are going on. Which I guess they weren't so random because they were all things that were going to be part of the brief, but now they just more so pertain to the characters that we know and the storyline that's happening. So I feel like it makes it a bit more interesting as a whole. What do you guys think about that?
It's more relatable. Now they're not creating problems like to bring onto the show. The characters are actually going through some issues and different things are happening amongst them. Yeah,
they're complex in their own way. I like that they're going back into Maureen's backstory a little bit with that whole thing, which we'll talk about a little later. But yes, to piggyback on that, it's good that they're kind of making those characters a little more complex.
And I like Jack Dawkins. Like, I really like his
character.
You do?
A lot.
I do.
Yeah?
I really do. Do you guys not like him?
I mean, I've just got introduced to him, so
I like him.
It takes a little while for me to kind of say that I like you.
I really like
I need to kind of warm up to you before I'm like, I like you.
Yeah, you do that. It does take a little bit of time for Jillian. So we're glad that you guys are back watching, listening. We love your comments. We love that you guys participate with our show. I'm Stef Z. Tell the people who you guys are before we get too far into it.
I'm rude, apparently. I'm Julian Dujarric.
I am Hannah Prichard.
And we are here again discussing State of Affairs. And I do think we have all become fans of the show. Can I say that? Are you a fan?
It's up and down. It's like an emotional roller coaster for me, Steph.
Oh, let it go. Let it
Don't
go.
do it. Don't do it. Don't do
I know. I should be fired just for that.
It's up and down. It's up and down, and I don't know if I'm ready for this kind of emotional yo-yo.
Oh my
I don't know if I'm
get
ready
over
for
it.
it.
It's a TV show.
I don't know if I'm ready for it.
Just pick a way. That's why you're not a sports guy. You can't pick a team.
Listen. I am a sports guy when I need to be. Steph knows what I'm talking about.
All right.
Look it up on YouTube.
Go on. No, we do start this episode off with Jack. We ended last episode with Jack being captured. And seeing a little bit more about that and him being taken to the jail. So we open up, and again, we do see that that's what's happening. We are closing and opening in similar ways rather than closing and then this random thing and then it has to tie back in, which I think we all like. It makes you feel like you know what's going on a little bit better. And we do see that Jack is this complex character. I feel like there's going to be more to the story there. Well, there was a lot of story there with Jack, actually. Like he was captured and he wasn't. And we know that he's very important to POTUS. We know he saved POTUS's life. So, and we do see, in talking about Jack, we see this key scene later that really is tying everything together. That good old Marshall doesn't, like that POTUS is going to use this eventually finding Jack to benefit herself.
Which, did she decide to actually do that though? Because I felt at the conversation at the end when she goes into Jack's room, if I can talk tonight, and apologizes to him, I felt like she actually may be going a different way on that.
Well, I feel like she realized she was wrong.
Yeah. On a lot of things, thankfully.
Yes.
But I mean, I still don't really like POTUS at all.
You don't like POTUS?
No, I don't. I do not like her character really very much.
You know,
at all.
I feel like, and I could be so wrong about this, and I might get so much slack, whatever you want to call it, in the comments. I feel like POTUS is portrayed as a weak character.
I kind of agree. Well, I kind of agree with you on that. And gosh, I don't know the word to use, but I feel like they try to portray her as being very controlling and strong, but in that sense, she actually appears to be weak to me.
Yeah,
in like
I
a
don't
backwards
see
way.
her. I don't see her sticking to her guns. I don't see her, and I understand that there's probably so much going on that she has to oversee, decisions that need to be made. But in the instances and in the interactions that we have, I don't see her. I feel like a lot of it's emotional choices that she's making rather than business.
I agree. There's no. I don't get the
no
sense that
big
there's
plan.
or even, but aside from the big plan, because there's a lot of things kind of happen in the moment, and she has to make these split-second decisions as the president. But she doesn't really seem to me as someone who has conviction behind what she's saying when she decides to do something. Is that? Am I alone on that?
No, I agree with you on that. And maybe not so much that I don't think that I mean that like there's a big plan and it doesn't fit in, because yes, you'd have to prepare for that. And a lot of things are they just come up, but there's not this common direction that she's going in where you would almost foresee what she would choose, and not because she's unpredictable, but because it's almost like it seems like she's unknowledgeable.
Yeah, like she at least as the president, you should have kind of this air of like confidence. Like, you're the president of the United States. Like, if you don't know what you're doing,
I don't
don't
think she's
let
lacking in confidence.
I don't know. It doesn't come across to me as if she's believing exactly what she's saying or what the decisions that she's making. If you're the president, even if you don't know diddly squat about what you're doing, or if you think it's the right decision, you say it with conviction. You do what you do with conviction. And I don't believe that she believes that any of her decisions are the right ones.
Well, and I don't believe that some of her decisions are the right ones. I mean, we'll come back to Jack and the Marshal, but let's talk about Charlie, for example.
Okay.
Let's talk about Charlie and the fact that Charlie, was fired as the briefer. She was demoted, not fired. She was demoted.
Or reassigned, as she likes to spin it.
Yeah, sorry, that was the correct term. And we see Maureen struggling. We see Maureen not having the right information. But POTUS doesn't want to just go ahead and hire Charlie back, knowing that now that Charlie's back, everyone knows Charlie knows more. She has more intuition. She's been working on this for 3 years. Like, she should have made that choice. Charlie's back, Charlie's stronger, put the other stuff behind us to get her the most information. So I didn't really agree with that choice that Maureen had to back out, you know what I mean? In order for Charlie to get that job back. I feel like that was kind of weak.
But I also realized tonight at the beginning when she was meeting with whoever was reassigning her or whatnot, whoever that was, that she probably shouldn't have been briefing the president to begin with if she had memory loss. Like, was that even a great decision on their part in the White House to have a briefer that was suffering from memory loss?
Right, but I feel like she was suffering from memory loss just because she was in this traumatic situation.
I just thought
everything else, like, she knows what is going on and she's super focused and can commit on that. But
Currently,
it's like if someone gets into a car accident and they can't remember the actual car accident.
Right. But I just thought that was interesting. I'm like, shouldn't everybody on that staff briefing the president
have all their mental faculties? I understand.
Not be unhinged in any way.
Yeah. See, but I don't think... I think I disagree with you guys on that one.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying one way or another. I'm just kind of just completing your sentence as I do.
Again, not a fan, not picking. No, but I don't think I understand what you're saying. Like, if you're not mentally stable, and we see other characters like Claire in Homeland. You know what I mean? We see other things where people are unstable, and it's a little bit like, why do they have so much responsibility? But I don't feel like she's unstable per se. I feel like she just doesn't. She has no recollection of this thing that happened, which we see she does this crazy thing to remember, which is a little bit bizarre. But whatever, we're not going to go back there. So yeah, that stuck out to me as, again, a weakness of POTUS.
Yeah.
That she couldn't just know what was the best for her. Because sometimes, even though it might be something emotionally you don't want to deal with, the best thing for you and your job sometimes has to, be prioritized over what emotionally you think is a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I feel, I mean, you're right. She puts too much emotion in her day to day, and as the president, like, you have to be very shrewd in your decision making. Like, you have to be very convicted. We'll go with that. Very assured of yourself in the way you make convincing. Whatever. You have to know what you're doing,
right?
Or you have to make it seem as if you're knowing what you're doing, and be absolutely sure of the decisions that you're making. And I don't get it from her. She's not.
Right.
She doesn't convince me of that. I'm not confident. I wouldn't vote for her.
But I did.
There you have it.
If she ran her campaign in any way as if she's in the same way as she's running the country, I mean,
Rough.
Yeah.
It's very sloppy.
Well, but in the same sense, we don't necessarily see all that always.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Okay, so we've got, the Jack situation. We've got some feelings about POTUS. Now, we also have this backpack scenario going on. So we have a backpack that's left and we see from last episode that it's become this social media, quote unquote, phenomenon of taking pictures of the Pegasus. Is that what they call it? Yeah. The Pegasus symbol around in front of monuments, national parks, all this stuff, and it becomes like this cool thing to do, almost like planking or selfies or whatever people do.
Pegasusing.
Pegasusing. And we see that there's these empty backpacks, and we learn towards the end, just to like wrap up all the scenarios, we learn towards the end that this is something that there is a little bit more suspicion around. There's these false, like, empty bags being left, but we learn that there's something greater to this. And I think that it was a little bit, again, how we say that, the way that Charlie remembered stuff was a little bit extreme. Like, I feel like identifying a human being by the varicose veins out of millions of people,
yeah.
I feel like it's a little far-fetched.
It's a little much. I wanted to Google it to see if that was an actual thing. I'm going to, and I'll get back to you next week.
I'm sure it's
the
an actual thing.
vascular patterns, I think they said.
They said it was vascular patterns, and they said that it was actually more
definitive than fingerprints. What is that about? If that's true, it's scary, but if I want to know if that's true.
But how do you see it? It's like a finger. I get a fingerprint. Yeah. I get a fingerprint. It's like when there's a fingerprint, they check a database of people that have been fingerprinted. Like, where do they catalog?
Is there like an
your
X-ray or
veins?
like an MRI, like a portable MRI that can see your veins?
There's way more people in the
world.
world.
Can you see veins on an MRI?
Yes.
Okay.
There's way more people that have fingerprints in a system than
their hands.
Than their veins. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's like, what's the database? How extensive is this database of veins, vascular patterns in human beings?
I don't know. I'm curious. There could have been some other way that they identified this chick. It was a little bit far-fetched.
And they just got lucky that she happened to have an article in a magazine, and that was like in a database. I'm like, what? I didn't understand.
How did they find her again?
I feel like through pictures of they saw
a picture of her hands,
and they can like X-ray vision a flat black and white picture to see the varicose vein. I don't know.
This is some advanced stuff, you guys.
You know what?
This
and
is some interesting
maybe the
stuff.
joke's on us. Maybe the joke's on us, and
this
maybe
is too advanced for us. This is far beyond our comprehension.
I don't know. I'm gonna put my hands on the
table.
I
don't want a CIA guy watching this, like that guy on Twitter who was calling out. You remember this a couple weeks ago? That guy on Twitter, the CIA guy, or was it a specific guy, or was it the actual Central Intelligence Agency that was kind of fact checking the show? Remember that?
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't, if you're watching, don't look at my hands.
Nah, you know what? I don't got nothing to hide. Here you go.
I may have something to hide.
You might. Anyways, so we see that, and again, it's interesting that we see that there's going to be some future story with Stacy, was that her name?
Yes.
Stacy Dover. So we see that that's gonna turn into something, but again, I would have liked a little bit more relatable way to identify her and find her. I feel like they could have went a lot of ways with that, and the veins was just.
It's just a bit of a stretch.
It's a bit of a stretch. People don't know. You're at home watching a television show. You want to feel like you're in the know a little bit, you know? And I feel like a lot of people were probably like, well, actually, I feel like a lot of people were probably like, holy crap, they can do that.
And, okay, but it also...
But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if I buy it.
Cracks me up with that whole storyline, though, with Stacey. Well, first of all, that they cut to her right after they find her in her, like, college dorm room with this hipster boyfriend.
Yeah.
Or, like, hipster boy who wants to be your boyfriend.
Yeah, he wants to be your boyfriend. He's not even, like, he's a hipster wannabe boyfriend.
Throwing hints and stuff. Like,
yeah, like, do you have a boyfriend?
Yeah.
I've got a bigger plan.
Yeah.
Right?
I want to make a difference in the world.
Right, and then,
like, a real difference.
And then, of course, the one person that they find over this hand thing is, of course, the one person who is going to kill somebody in the White House. Like, come on.
Out of the 200,000 pictures.
Come on, guys. Really?
I'm telling you.
I
That is
feel
some-
you.
some
It's
great
a little
technology.
bit
far-fetched.
A little bit. I think I might call horse shit.
Yep.
Hey!
I think I'm just gonna say it.
I love it. You're not
Pegasus.
drinking the State of Affairs Kool-Aid anymore.
I love this show. I am drinking the Kool-Aid. I love the show. I'm just saying the way that they identified her and found her was a little bit
So you're
unnecessary.
diluting, you're pouring a little more water in the Kool-Aid.
Hey, we love it for being far-fetched, okay?
I love this
Y'all
show.
love it for being
I love how
far-fetched.
everything is everything. There's gonna put a little bit of a bow on this whole thing, guaranteed. They're like leaving little nuggets, and you're like, oh, let me take that one. I understand that now.
Well, and they brought back the Krieg group tonight. I feel
Oh,
like we
right.
haven't
Yeah, we
talked
haven't
about
talked about them in a while.
Well, yeah,
Or haven't seen them.
let's move into that. Let's talk about Nick. Well, I guess the Krieg group is kind of in two separate areas now.
Right. I'm so confused by it all because before we had found out, that Nick was a part of it and that what's his name?
Well, we
who
think
I think
Nick was taken by the Krieg group, which then told us that Nick was at one point a part of it,
Krieg
and
group.
so was Sid. Was that his name?
Sid,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
So we see that Jack is captured, then he's in jail, then he's taken from jail, then he overtakes the people that have taken him from jail, then he gets taken by the Krieg group.
Crazy. And I love
You
how
follow?
and I
Okay.
love how, and they're saying that, what's his name? Mr. Gantry is the leader of this Krieg group, is what they think, correct? Right. And he just like shows up off the plane and is like, "Oh, hey, Charlie, how's it going?" It was all crazy to me. But that Mr. Gantry is just walking around, knows everybody's
Victor
business.
Gantry.
There he is.
Well, but did you guys not? I mean, not to jump to the end, and I know with this show we kind of jump around a lot, but it has to do with this storyline. It's clear that Victor Gantry is working with Kyle Green.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
I mean, when you evade questions like that, like she was very, very poignant with her questions, like, who are you working for?
Yeah,
what are
and
you
we
doing
almost-
here?
as
And you
soon
couldn't
as-
answer them.
Yeah, as soon as Charlie said to POTUS,
Pointed, not poignant. Sorry, go ahead, continue.
as soon as Charlie said to POTUS, who is that one person that wants to do this right out underneath you? Like, POTUS wanted to, save Jack because Jack saved her. And yes, we see this scene where, David comes in and says how good this will look for her and her campaign for doing this. And Marshall's there, which again ties back in later. And we see that Marshall is saying, like, that's kind of crap. Like, why are you going to, like, he saved your life. You should just save his life and not parade him around. You should humbly do it. And we see that later, clearly Marshall is giving the intel to Kyle, which is crazy.
Crazy. And if Kyle is working with Mr. Gantry, then does that make the president's husband a part of potentially
Treason.
a terrorist
Yeah, he's
group? You know what I mean?
He's a
'Cause
traitor.
it's all crazy to me.
Whoa.
I know, it blows my mind.
Whoa.
And I keep trying to find ways to tie it all together. For
Well,
it to
then
make
was
sense to
Aaron
me.
with Marshall, and was Aaron the kid working with Marshall?
Dun, dun,
Wait.
dun.
Whoa!
Whoa, she just threw a wrench in your plan. Good luck.
I hurt my brain. Truly.
Good
I was
luck
like,
trying
wait,
to
what?
wrap it all together now.
I'm just saying.
Anything's possible. Anything is possible.
And that's why I love the show.
Can we talk about Kyle Green for a little bit? The
Sure.
senator. I love that. I love that that Kyle Green is kind of a questionable character.
And I've liked
I
her.
feel like she
her.
has a stronger presence than POTUS.
Yeah.
I do too.
I would pick her.
Yeah.
I
You
might
vote for
vote
her?
for her. Over POTUS,
Over
I
POTUS.
might. Hey, man, if you're going to play the game, the politics is a dirty game. If
You
you're
have
going
to play it.
you got to play with someone that knows how to play dirty.
Exactly.
I'm just
And Kyle
saying.
Green
This is playing
Is
If
dirty.
I
playing
was
dirty.
the captain of the team and I got first pick, I might pick Kyle over POTUS.
telling you. But it's
I'd pick Charlie.
You'd pick Charlie? I don't know. I'd pick Kyle Green.
Charlie
I'm with you on
knows.
She knows what's up.
She knows what's up.
It's really interesting to me that the hubby, first husband, first gentleman,
First man.
man,
There we
man,
go.
first man,
The first manly man.
the first manly man of the United States of America. It's interesting. It's really, I like that storyline, that plot twist that the first gentleman is working with Senator Kyle Green in some
I didn't
fashion.
see that coming.
I didn't either.
No.
It was pleasant. It was a pleasant surprise. for
See,
me.
you love the show, don't you?
I like elements of the show.
I also really liked. Sorry. I also
No, I'm
really
good.
liked Marshall standing up for himself and putting POTUS in her place because
Yeah.
they
Yes.
allow her to take over
Yes.
him.
She's only assertive with her husband.
Right, but I mean,
Ain't that
come
some
on.
shit?
His quote, I believe, was, "I don't mind disagreement, but I do
not-
mind being dismissed." Boom!
Right.
Preach.
But he's being dismissed to go talk to Kyle
I
and
know.
go against her.
I know.
It's confusing
I
me so
know.
much how to feel about any of the
He has
characters.
more of
You're-
a backbone
you're-
than
I see your head is just going, woo.
It was too much.
he has more of
It's
a
too much.
backbone than his wife.
I like his.
I mean, you
character a
need to
lot.
have a backbone in order to be to make your wife feel guilty for dismissing you
happened
and then
to
be
POTUS?
dismissed to the enemy. Sorry, I'm getting very
I know, passionate. I love it. All right,
flabbergasted.
so let's.
I don't know what this is.
I don't know either.
This is just I don't
Let's
know.
talk about, you know what I always find interesting is, get it together, how Jack, when he escaped being captured, in the woods,
Yes.
how he makes the, the V signal, which soon signal, like Charlie knows that that's the SOS. Like, I find that so fascinating that these little tricks of the trade or these signals or these things that the military know to signal something else but not tell the people around them. I think that's really smart and interesting. And as well as Charlie saying, like, we need to look on a different frequency because we want to hear the walkie-talkies, we might not hear cell phones. So I feel like that was very smart. She, to me, is very smart, and I like smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you're I've never been in that situation, but I can only imagine that when you're in those kind of extreme places and situations, you kind of have to do things that are a little bit out of the box that normal patterns of thinking wouldn't allow you to see. Or I guess in this case here, because they were listening in on the walkie-talkies. So.
Yeah. Another thing that I know that you want to talk about.
What, Nick?
Yeah.
Because I always want to talk about Nick.
I know. Let's talk about Nick.
Nick?
Nick
What's-
didn't have a lot
what's
of
his name? Nick
airtime
Vera?
tonight.
No.
I know.
And it really bothered me.
I know.
A lot.
But it was good when he was there.
It was.
Because he was naked.
And he was disrobing.
Oh.
And we enjoyed it a little bit.
He was
But
naked.
anyways, and we find out he's like a gem specialist.
What? Jim.
Gem.
Whatever.
That's funny.
I pronounce things weird.
It's no. That's not what's funny to me. Is the fact that he's a gem specialist is super funny to me. Like I so thought they were gonna kill him. Like he was like no, this is blah 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 blah, and he got it. It was.
See, I knew he would pass the test.
Yeah.
That would have been
Right.
that would have been too like lame if it would have been, oh, you said the wrong thing, shot dead.
I would have
He's
wanted him
gotta-
to like just for some like a plot twist.
I
like
like
boom.
that they tried to fool him and he
Yeah.
knew. I feel like
Okay.
that was.
But that, like, the whole thing with him doing all the gem testing, whatever was going on, I was just confused as to why these people had taken him then. Like, what was going on? Because he was going to meet Fada, and all of a sudden he's taken by a group of people who wants him to be their gem expert.
I
I'm
feel
so
like what's
confused.
happening, and I can be totally wrong, but my
Yeah.
assessment of what's happening is Fada knows he's coming.
Right.
Because Fada's the asset. Fada is close to Hakim. Is that his name? Shaka
We'll go
Khan?
with that. Shaka Khan.
I'm fine.
He's close with Shaka Khan. Let's just go. Shaka Khan.
So Nick, Fada is trying to get Nick close to him because he's close to Shaka Khan. So in that, these people want to know why Fada is allowing this guy in, and he's saying he used to run money when they would transfer gems back and forth. So they're just testing Fada's credibility. They're testing Nick's credibility. So that's why they are asking before they take him to where Fada is, to make sure that he's the right Nick, that someone didn't kill Nick and is saying they're Nick. Like they're putting him to the test to make sure that he's exactly what Fada said he was.
Yeah, and I mean, you kind of have to be. I think you're right. I mean, I agree with you. I think when you're just in possession of that much money, I mean, we saw that one gem is worth more than a plane, or it's like
that red diamond.
Yeah, that red diamond.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a lot of money being handled in just a few gems. So you kind of have to be a little more suspicious of people and kind of vet a little more than you would if you were just taking Fada on his word.
Right.
Truth.
Okay, well, I think we kind of touched on all of the, storylines going on in here. Let's talk about some predictions for next week. What do you guys think is going to happen? Hannah, let's start with you.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I always forget about that. Well, I think there's going to be, a lot more coming to light with the whole Kyle Green and Marshall stuff, and I'm really hoping it doesn't go down the route of him being a part of this whole terrorist kind of thing, because I guess that's kind of what they're saying is happening. And obviously Stacy's going to try to kill somebody, so I'm real excited to watch that come down. Okay. Little white girl Stacy coming in to the White House, and they'll probably let her walk right in the doors as that one man did and spray paint. Anyways. But also with Lucas and Maureen, too. All of that stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
And Mr. Man, who likes Maureen, getting all jealous. I think some things are going to come to light with that, and Lucas is drinking. I think there's going to be some issues around there.
Right.
Okay. I agree with the last part of that. I think there's definitely going to be some issues with regards to the drinking situation with Maureen, or Maureen's boy, man. Manly man, Lucas man. We can do this all day. This might be wishful thinking, but I really think Senator Kyle Green and the first man, I think they're terrorists. I think that they are enemies of the state. They are, no, I'm serious. I think that why else would you be holding these secret meetings and have this photo of the three of them?
I was hoping that you were going to say they were having an affair.
I think that's
You're
too predictable.
always hoping for that.
I think that's a little too predictable. I mean, sure, that's very possible. I don't think so, just based on like all of the stuff that's happening. I don't know that an affair necessarily would make for the most compelling storyline. I don't know. Anything's possible, but I think they're in much deeper than what we may think they are. I think they're bad. I think they're like bad guys.
Well, I'm going to piggyback off of that a little bit, and I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. I think it's as far as they are almost responsible for Aaron's death in some way, shape, or form.
Kyle and First Hubby?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like they know something more. The first man with that picture is now, it's not like, look at what I have.
Yeah.
It's now like, oh, I've got the evidence to get me off the hook.
Yeah.
I feel like it's something that's going to be used to cover them rather than to expose, Kathleen Heigl and Nick and Fada. That's what I feel
How else
like.
would they know that? How else would they have that evidence if they don't? I agree with you, actually. How else would they have that evidence if they don't know something?
We all agree with you.
Or if they've kept some sort of intel.
It's no one agrees that it's right.
Well, here's the thing. That's probably for me. I think that's the most plausible. I'm trying to use so many big words. I think that's true, girl. Trying to,
all right, cool.
Trying to seem smarter than I am.
We will just have to see.
Plausible.
We will just have to see. Next week, it does look interesting. Again, this college girl plot story thing makes me a little bit. I feel like that might be the left field of next week, because it seems every episode there's one thing that's like, wait, what? But we'll just have to see. Until then, tell the people where you guys can be found.
You all can find me on Instagram and Twitter at @TheHotShotDude.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, mostly Instagram and Twitter. You know, keep me active at Julian Dujarric.
And you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at I am Stef Z. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.
Good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
How good are we?